just sign in there, sir, and state your name for the record whenever you're ready.
My name is Paul Scott, and I just wanted to talk today real quick about my concerns about kind of an uptick in criminal activity in my neighborhood. I live on 203 Greenbelt Drive. Just recently we had the shooting incident, and previous to that there had been a police raid at a house on Leslie as well. And I was just curious if the council had any plans to take any type of proactive steps to help us prevent further incidents in our neighborhood.
Chief here?
Yeah, the chief.
Well, yeah,
Yeah, there
because-
is there. Let's see if we can find Doug.
Well, what I was gonna tell you is I don't think they're gonna tell you much because most of that stuff is through the Attorney General's office, and they don't like,
Let's see, let's see if we can get the
they're,
chief in.
they're working on
Okay.
locations in Monroeville, but they won't talk about them.
Okay.
Yeah, but the one event, yes, the first one, Mr. Harvey's correct. The most recent one, we've tracked down the homeowner who owns the house.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Because it's a rental.
Because it was a rental.
Rental,
Rental,
and
huh.
they've
Which
spoken
is
to
why
them.
our solicitor
And the
mentioned.
individual who owns the house, they live in one state, out of state.
Okay.
They were actually in another state for several months visiting family, so it took us a while to track them down. However, they are willing to go through the eviction process with their tenant. However, the tenant is voluntarily leaving, so they have 45 days to do so, which would be about mid-March now at this point, and if that does not happen, then legal action will be taken to the magistrates.
Okay.
Which is also why our solicitor mentioned about looking at our policies of like rentals and stuff, because we found that was part of that problem.
Okay.
Chief,
Okay.
this gentleman had a question about his neighborhood.
Could you repeat?
Yeah, I
that?
just had a question about, we had the shooting incident recently. Is there anything that's being done, I guess, more proactively to prevent for
Tell them where you
future
live.
incidents? I live on 203 Greenville Drive.
Well, I mean, obviously, we investigated that crime and solved it immediately, made arrests on it. The follow-up that we've done is still under investigation. I really can't comment about it. Certainly, we are in touch with neighbors in the area that are giving us information, and we're doing what we can to, increase the patrols in the area and make sure that it's kind of a hard thing to prevent because it comes out of whether it is associated with drug trafficking, and this was something that was met on a street that they didn't even live on that street. They lived back in the neighborhood, which was only one part of that party did. So, I mean, I'm really pleased with the response of our department and how quickly we were able to make
Yes.
arrests. And there will be more investigation that I really can't comment on, but and we certainly encourage anybody that has a house that they think suspicious to make sure that they call our dispatch center, and we'll get police officers to go check that, and we want to see that. That seems to be what happens. We have a lot of homes that something unusual's happened in the neighborhood. They're seeing more activity in and out. That they know something's wrong, and then they just don't call us. So we certainly try to investigate based on other means at homes that are with in and out trafficking or with just unusual activity. But we really need the help of the community to let us know that that's happening.
Okay.
But I mean, we certainly, you just heard about from the management side of this. We're trying to look at, with lack of a better word, calling absentee landlords, people that are renting these homes, and we're doing our best to see what we can do to kind of make them more accountable. I can assure you that though this house is being heavily looked at, and I
Okay.
think that some of the issues are going to solve themselves. But we did get cooperation with the person that owns that house. We continue to be in contact with him, both myself and the mayor.
Chief, may I say
Absolutely.
something? I think if you would let the residents know that if they do call in, that their names will never be used, never come out publicly or anything to that effect. When they call in to say it's so-and-so.
Well, you can't say never, but our intent is
Well,
to keep
yes.
them
Keep it-
anonymous.
well, okay.
But the reality, in order for us to take this to the next level, anonymous complaints aren't as look credible. Thank you
Yeah.
for the credible as they would be if we have people that we can identify and say, hey, even though we wouldn't tell that name to anybody involved in that, but at least law enforcement knows
Well,
that.
no,
so they
that
can
I
move forward, yeah.
understand.
And we certainly, I mean, that's the reason people don't do it. I mean, you know,
That's
you're
why I
absolutely-
said that.
Counsel,
I
you're
see a
absolutely
couple
correct.
folks shaking
They don't
their
want to
head
get
like
themselves
that's what they
involved,
were
they want to
thinking.
just stay out of it. But even if you say, listen, I'll give you my name, but don't obviously release it, we won't do that. But we want to follow up on those events that we think are suspicious, and that helps us put together information.
Well,
and
that's
we
why
can do
I
a
wanted
search
to-
You
warrant.
do it like a neighborhood crime watch. I mean, if you see something that seems off to you, call.
Okay.
I mean, we want people to do that.
And we do.
We all can't, they all can't be everywhere
Right.
at all times. So, you know, we always say to the public, let people know.
Nobody knows your neighborhood like you do.
Right.
Right.
We have a crime watch sort of in Garden City, and I'm sure those folks will be happy to sit down with you and help you organize your own crime watch over that way.
You know, I was
Is there
just
any
gonna-
particular name that we can contact to talk to about?
Betsy?
Betsy Desmond, but she's out of town right now.
Yeah,
But
okay.
I'll
if you
get
want, if you want,
We
I
can
will.
provide that.
If you
Okay.
hold on, I'll give you her phone number.
I can also tell you, one of the things that's
Oh,
happening with
or
the
you can
crime watch, they're
coordinate
great
with the
ideas, and we certainly want neighbors to be involved and be neighbors, is really what it comes down to. But as social media has hit us pretty hard here, which, one of the positives of that is we were able to share information. And, you know, that seems to be taking a few of the places of the crime watches that you saw previously. Where you saw more organizations where you had meetings and all that, Tom.
Yes.
It's now being done more electronically, which isn't a bad thing, it's a good thing. It gets more people involved in it, you can do it just tapping on your phone. So, so we are actually looking even for the police department to have a more presence. We have a Facebook page that Tina Mueller and our new IT person we have downstairs, Brian Hoffman, they keep that up and try to update things as we go on with that. We certainly can give tips there. You can give tips through Nexel. We have that Nexel system. If you get involved in that, you can send anonymous tips through there. And then the other thing is real easy just to do because we're blessed to still, our elected officials have still funded a dispatch center that costs us a pretty penny here. We could call a dispatch center and get immediate response just with a phone call. So I can assure you that there's a lot of things being looked at there. There's ongoing investigations still involving the houses that were involved, or the house that was involved in it. And we certainly intend to prosecute the people that we arrested to the fullest extent here.
And then the Nixle system's also available on the municipal webpage.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's a good
it's an alerting system to
system.
tell you, we try to keep up with that. Well, that night, we didn't get that out as quick as we wanted to, but we try to keep up with any major event, road closure. It's actually a good thing to have on your, but you can also send anonymous and send, even not anonymous, you can send tips and crime watch type
It's a good
information on it.
system.
All right.
It's a good system.
All right. It's good to know because I didn't know about it before now.
Okay, well, we've always encouraged that anybody we talk to in law enforcement, you know, we want the community to be involved and to give us information. That's how we solve it. It's all about information. And, you know, certainly, we may not move as quick as you like because there's a lot of things that we have to dot the i's and cross the t's per se, but we certainly want any information we can get from any of the neighborhoods, anybody, any resident whatsoever, right? Anybody even just passing through town here.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thank you, Mr.